Good morning, my dear students. Let us discuss the last topic from the lesson, chemical bonding. In this chemical bonding lesson, we have discussed about all the topics. First one, it is Lewis-Strauss structure, and in this we have learned how to write the Lewis-Strauss structure for all the elements. Mainly, Lewis-Strauss structure, it gives us the clear picture about the how many valence electrons are present in the atom or element. And then electronic theory of valence. Electronic theory of valence, in that ionic bond and chemical bond, how the ionic bond and covalent bond, how the ionic bond it is formed in between the ions. What is the reason why these atoms are becoming ions? To get the stability or to attain the stable electronic configuration or octet, and then they become ions by losing or gaining the electrons. Then the bond formed in between these ions is called ionic bond. And then in covalent bond, the electron sharing, the mutual sharing of electrons is happening. Both by sharing the electrons, both the atoms are attaining the stability. And later, in detail, we have discussed about the valence shell electron pair repulsion theory. Here we have discussed about the shapes of the molecules and bond angles also, and the reason behind the shapes. Finally, till now we have discussed based on the Lewis-Strauss structure only. We have considered the valence electrons only. And in this valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, bond pairs and lone pairs, and among in between these repulsions we have seen, and bond angles we have seen, and here the single bond, double bond, and triple bond types of bonds also we have seen. Later, valence bond theory. In this valence bond theory, we have learned that sigma bond, types of covalent bonds, two types of covalent bonds, sigma bond and pi bond. And sigma bond is a stronger one due to head-on overlapping or end-end overlap, whereas pi bond it is weaker one because of lateral or sideways overlapping. And there we have discussed about uh, orbital overlapping. This valence bond theory is also called as orbital uh, overlapping theory, orbital concept theory. In terms we can call it as like that, because there mainly we focused about orbitals overlapping instead of valence electrons. Of course, valence electrons where they are present in orbitals. Mainly the reason behind this is the shape of the orbital. But why? Because the shape of the orbital gives us the direction also, and the direction of the orbital gives us the clear picture about the bond strengths and bond angles, and the what type of bonds are these, all this kind of information, and we have seen in valence bond theory. In this valence bond theory, one more it is the final one, hybridization. The reason behind the equal bond strengths in beryllium chloride is mainly explained. For better explanation, we have taken example of beryllium chloride and explained the hybridization, and we have seen how the sp hybrid orbitals are formed in beryllium chloride and sp2 hybrid orbitals in boron trifluoride, whereas sp3 hybridization and sp3 hybrid orbitals in ammonia, and whereas water molecule also. But in this ammonia and water molecule, in ammonia, one lone pair of electron it is there. Because of this lone pair, the repulsion between bond pair and lone pair, the finally the bond angle in between nitrogen and hydrogen in ammonia molecule, the bond angle decreased because of the contraction. Similarly, in water molecule also, the totally how many electrons reshuffled in water molecule? If we observe the water molecule structure, there are two lone pairs and two bond pairs are there. And there what kind of hybridization? sp3 hybridization there also, but two lone pairs. Because of this lone pair repulsions, rather than lone pair bond pair repulsions, lone pair repulsions are more stronger. Because of these repulsions in water molecule also, the bond angle decreased, and the water molecule shape, what we can call that one, it is bend shape or V shape. The angle, that one, there it is, actual angle is 109 degrees 31 minutes it should be, but the present angle in water molecule is 104 degrees 31 minutes. So all this we have learned. And in covalent bond, do you remember, we have discussed that two types of covalent bonds are present, and those two are named as polar covalent and non-polar covalent bonds. And finally, one more question, it is an important one today. I will explain you that one, that is the major properties of ionic bond and covalent bond. Let us compare and study this ionic bond and covalent bond in covalent bond, polar and non-polar. Let us see the properties. The property, and we have taken example of sodium chloride, the best example for ionic compound. For covalent compounds, for polar, we have seen that hydrogen chloride, and non-polar C2H6. What kind of properties are present in these kind of ionic and covalent compounds? If we see a molecule, and if we observe the property of that particular molecule, if you want to test the molecule, what kind of properties we have to check whether it is ionic and covalent? For taking the decision, what kind of properties they should possess? Let us see. First one, it is formula mass. So mass of the NaCl, that is sodium chloride, is 58.5, whereas for covalent compound it is less, 36.5. For non-polar, 30.0. Before going into the in detailed explanation, let us clear that one. What is this ionic compound? Why we are calling this as ionic compound NaCl? Because this NaCl compound, it readily dissociates into ions, that is Na plus Cl minus, or ionic compound. Mainly the ionic bond formed between the ions. The bond between these ionic ions is called ionic bond. The compound, it is called ionic compound. So here Na plus and Cl minus, the two ions, they come closer and they make a bond. That bond is called ionic bond. That compound here, Na plus and Cl minus, they come closer together and they make a bond, and newly formed molecule, it is NaCl, sodium chloride molecule. The compound, it is called ionic compound. Whereas coming to covalent compound, the covalent bond is nothing but there the mutual sharing uh, of electrons is happening here. But here two kinds of covalent compounds, those are polar and non-polar. If you observe this polar, we can easily dissociate this HCl into ions, H plus and Cl minus, but not the completely one it is cation and one it is anion. We can't say like that, but the partial charges are there, partially positive charge and partially negative charge, but they can dissociate into ions. That is the reason we are calling it as polar covalent compound, that is partially ionic compound and partially covalent compound. Polar is nothing but poles, that means positive one, negative, those are charges. Next, non-polar, the compound which we cannot dissociate into ions. Simple, you just remember like that. Polar compound means that compound can be dissociated into ions. The first one, physical appearance. What kind of properties? The first one, it is physical appearance. How the ionic compounds look like? These are simple white crystalline solids. For NaCl it is crystalline solid, and the color it is white. We know that one. Common salt, sodium chloride means. Hydrogen chloride or hydrochloric acid. How it is? It is a gas, colorless gas. Usually covalent compounds are colorless gas, and few are solids also will be there, very few. Usually gases and liquids. HCl gas also it is there, and HCl liquid also it is there. And type of bond, it is ionic bond, because the bond formed between the ions, that's why this is ionic bond. And observe this one, just now we have discussed about this one. Na plus, that means a cation, and Cl minus, anion. The bond between these ions is called ionic bond, and the so formed compound it is ionic compound, NaCl. Whereas here these are polar covalent. Just now I told you H plus Cl minus, of course, but those are not completely dissociated into ions like Na plus and Cl minus, but they have partially positive charges and partially negative charges. So hydrogen gets partially positive charge, whereas chlorine partially negative charge. Why? Because these here a pair of electrons are shared between hydrogen and chlorine, even though the negative, most electronegative atom that tends to pull towards it. So the electronegativity character of a chlorine atom, that's why the reason to attain the partially negative charge, it is more electronegative atom gets negative charge, partially negative charge. Simply we can say that nonpolar is covalent compound, covalent bond. Next, one more characteristic, it is melting point. Let us see how it is for ionic compounds. It is high melting point, that is 801 degrees centigrade for NaCl, whereas for HCl it is low, minus 115 degrees, minus 115. For C2H6 it is even low, minus 183 degrees centigrade. If you want to check this melting point, you can take some salt in a spoon or spatula, and you can try to melt that one on the flame of your gas burner. You just observe whether it melt immediately or not, and how much time it takes. Just try the experiment with utmost care and let me know. Next one more property, it is boiling point. Even for ionic compounds, boiling point also it is high, 1413 degrees. Melting point is nothing but where the compound it starts melting. Even boiling point is nothing but where the compound it starts to boil. So here for polar covalent compounds and non-polar covalent compounds, so totally for covalent compounds the melting and boiling points are very low, with comparatively for ionic compounds. For ionic compounds the melting and boiling points are very high. The next property it is solubility. If you check the solubility, that means in which compound the particular ionic compound it is mixing or completely dissolving. If we mix this ionic compound, if it is completely dissolves, that is the solubility test. It is soluble in polar solvents like water and insoluble in non-polar solvents. Okay. Solvent is nothing but if we add a salt to the water, then what will happen? It completely dissolves in the water. So that is called the solvent. What kind of solvent that one? That dissolves the salt. Water, it dissolves the salt into it. How it is happening? First of all, the sodium chloride, that means salt, dissociate into ions. Because in sodium chloride, sodium ion it is there and chloride ion it is there. When we mix it with water, first of all it dissociates into Na plus and Cl minus, and it completely dissolves in that water, that is polar solvent, like water. For example, it is water, but insoluble in non-polar solvent. For example, for non-polar solvent, that is C2H6, if we mix the salt or sodium chloride, it is an insoluble. That means it does not dissolve completely, or sometimes it won't dissolve at all. It just as such it remains like that. For polar covalent compounds, solubility, if we test that one, it's these covalent compounds, mainly polar covalent compounds, are soluble in polar solvents like water, and to some extent in non-polar solvents. These also, because HCl also, it readily dissociates into ions. Even though it is partial charges also present on it, it dissolves or dissociates into ions. So it dissolves in water. Water is a polar solvent. But for some extent for non-polar solvents, in C2H6, it is for some extent it dissolves, but not completely. Whereas coming to non-polar, it is soluble in non-polar solvents only. Like dissolves like, that means same type of compounds dissolves in same type of solutions only. Because here ionic compounds means they dissolve in polar solvents. Even polar covalent compounds also dissolve in polar solvents. But whereas non-polar, they're they're not dissolved. They dissolve only in non-polar solvents. The next property it is chemical activity. Ionic compounds are highly active in polar solvents and reactions are instantaneous. The reason behind this one, it is they are usually appears as crystalline solids in nature. And among these crystalline solids, the ions, the electrostatic force of attraction in ionic compounds, it is much more between these atoms. In these molecules, because of these electrostatic force of attractions, there is only what is happening here in chemical, if we test for chemical activity, simply the rearrangement of ions is happening. So the reactions are very fast here. That means instantly it gives products. But here in covalent compounds, these are moderately reactive. Similarly, in non-polar covalent compound, they are very slow at room temperature. What is the reason? The reason behind this is they are gases and generally liquids. So the reaction between these kind of molecules, it is moderate. That means medium. But in non-polar covalent compounds, it is completely slow. And the force of attraction, just now we have discussed that in ionic compounds there exists strong electrostatic force of attraction between these ions because of oppositely charged electrostatic forces, where they will act mainly in between the oppositely charged, and those are strong bonds because of electrostatic force of attraction. That's why they are appearing in crystalline form. And here weak force of attractions, weak van der Waals forces are there in covalent compounds. It is easy to dissociate here. Because these attractions are very less. That means the forces are weak. So there is not much attraction between the atoms. So here bond dissociation, it is easy. Do you remember that bond energy? The energy required to break the bond. That is the covalent bond here. In non-polar covalent compounds, the weak force of attraction, same here also. So these are all the properties to identify the ionic and covalent compounds. This is the important question. Practice this one. Read and write it and submit to me. So we have completed the lesson chemical bonding. So go through the textbook. This is for today. Thank you.